Welcome to Business Matters, the show about people behind businesses that help make Tacoma a great place to live and work. I'm your host, Mike Wark, and on this episode of In the Spotlight, we visit a stylish women's boutique in Freighthouse Station Marketplace. Then, a quick trip to Fern Hill Business District gives us a snapshot of restaurants and shops in Tacoma's South End. On Tacoma Means Business, Andrew Fryle provides some of his good business sense. And today, my guest is Viki Lareau, who's the owner of Create and Adorn in Freighthouse Station Marketplace. Welcome, Viki.
Thank you. Hi.
It's great to have you here. You have such an interesting story. Create and Adorn used to have another name, which was...
We were formerly the Bead Factory.
The Bead Factory.
Yes.
And a lot of what you do is the same, but you have this great new name. Tell us about your store.
Well, Create and Adorn is very similar to the Bead Factory that I had for 27 years. 27 years. Yeah. Now it's hopefully a little more evolved and updated, but basically we carry a lot of beads and tools to create your own jewelry. Okay. It's our inventory is ever changing. We're getting new things in all the time, and we do a lot of classes, and so that's probably our main focus. Is I present a lot of, I think, fashion forward jewelry styles and projects, and then people can come in and they can make that exact project, take a class or buy a kit. So fashion forward, by that, I mean, maybe since I haven't been to a lot of bead stores, I think of beads, but you actually have more fashion-oriented things that look more like jewelry than what some people might think. I like to think that, that we're really trying to focus more on trends and things you would find at your department stores or catalogs or see online on Instagram or whatever, and then be able to make that same piece yourself. Right. Yeah. And so people go online, they see this beautiful piece of jewelry, and they can come and make it. Yeah, yeah. Or I'll offer it as a class, and they can sign up to come, make that piece, or just come in a class. They can sign up for the class. You'll have all the materials. You show them through it, and they end up with that piece that they could have walked in and bought, but they made it themselves. Exactly. Now, let me guess. I bet the jewelry you're wearing all was made by you with materials from your store. Of course, yeah. So that gives us an idea. Yeah, yeah. And you come from a background. You didn't start in a bead store. No. I worked for Nordstrom many decades ago now. And I'm in the jewelry department at Nordstrom, and into that, then I actually started working for a bead company in Vancouver, British Columbia, actually, and then that's kind of how I got started. I met my husband there, and then we opened the Bead Factory in Freighthouse Square originally in 1992. So you've been there before. I have been there before. Yeah. Yeah, for the first 8 years of that previous business, yeah. So you sold jewelry at Nordstrom, which I think is considered fashion forward? I would think so, yeah. Yeah, totally. And then went off into the bead business, and then decided to start your own business. What prompted that? I think that probably like a lot of people that work maybe in other companies or large corporations, they always think they could do it better. And again, from Nordstrom as a background, I wanted to just take beading more to fashion and make more current things, especially back then. But beads still can have or bead stores can still have a stigma of kind of the 70s and hippies and patchouli and incense. And it just... Hopefully, I opened a bead store that didn't look like that, that looked more like a department store. Okay. And where you found really nice, high-quality products and gemstones and nice, high-quality findings of the little parts used to put it together and nice tools. And so you have gemstones as well, it's not just beads. Yeah, I travel to India actually a couple times a year to purchase gemstones, Oh, so you have a real interesting array of things. Yeah, yeah. And I bet it's fun just to look around and see all the different things, for sure. I find your journey really interesting. You're now in Freighthouse Square. You started there 27 years ago. Yeah. You've had this successful run as a business. Why don't we walk through that? I think it's really instructive to people who are interested in a business or have a business and think, maybe I should try a different location. So after a few years in Freighthouse Square... Yeah, there's been a lot of bumps, for sure. You made a jump. We're 8 years in Freighthouse Square, and we needed a bigger location. Okay. We moved to 6th Avenue, and we were on 6th Avenue for 10 years. 10 years. And it was great. It was a great time. Our business kept growing, and at one point I had about 20 employees, which is a lot for me. Wow, yeah. Once the recession hit, so like 2000, probably 9, 10, it started to affect us more. We made another move to Westgate area, thinking rents were more affordable there. And we just really, struggled through that. And of course, hindsight is 2020, and trying to make it through that recession. And about 2014, we decided to close the bead factory and kind of pivot the business. And we opened more of a jewelry school in Lakewood.
Okay.
At the time, we were trying to find locations. And even though commercial real estate is always very abundant in Tacoma, we still had a hard time kind of finding the right location. We wanted to build out different classrooms and metal studios and things. And so we found what we thought was a great location at the time in Lakewood. However, moving even just that 15 minutes down the freeway, we really lost a lot of our clientele that either just didn't want to make the trip. And so it was a struggle. I think the direction was probably correct, but really moving too far out of the area where people are used to you.
Yeah, so you have a very
really
local clientele.
Affected the business, and we had done that about 3 years, and then go ahead.
Yeah, well, at some point you started the online component, right?
We always had our class offerings online, so you could sign up for classes online. That was our website kind of at the time.
Right.
After we had done that about 3 years, but after being married 27 years, my husband and I actually decided to separate last year in April of 2017. So we closed the business and we separated, and it's been closed for about a year now, a little over a year and a half.
But your clients keep calling you, your customers.
Yeah, so fortunate to have a great clientele for the last couple of decades.
Yeah.
And they call and email and come over to the house and to purchase things. And
so you've been working out of your house in a way,
a little bit,
building your online presence.
Yes, and so that last kind of year when we were closed, I was trying to build a new company, a new bead company. So to stay in the industry, but to definitely evolve with the times. Several hundred bead stores have closed in the last 5 years.
And here you are, you're still going strong.
I think the traditional bead store maybe can't survive on its own. It's online sales are a real thing, and they're not going anywhere. They're only growing. And so you've got to have that element as well. And so brick and mortar is a real challenge, today. And so
I think this is a great story of resilience. And I know from working with entrepreneurs that resilience is really important.
Of course.
That, one of the things that happens as an entrepreneur is sometimes people fail, and you just have to persevere through it, have your confidence, and I'm sure it helps to have your clients coming back and calling for you.
Yeah.
So what a great story. You went through all these different locations, you survived the recession, you tried a business model that didn't work, what's going on, and now you're back where you started.
I know,
Freighthouse
it's crazy.
Square. And if your clients are probably, you're hearing from them, they're happy?
Yes. Yeah. We've only been open about a month, but it's been nice to have them come down all the time. Yeah, it's been great.
And you're in a location where you can draw new clients.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. It's kind of nice to be home again, I guess, there.
So you're getting settled in.
Yes.
You're building your online presence while doing your brick and mortar there in Freighthouse Square.
Yes, yeah.
How do you like Freighthouse Square again?
Oh, I love it. It's it really hasn't changed that much, I guess. It's the retail portion's gotten a little smaller since the transit centers went in there, but of course that's all big and beautiful now. And so, but otherwise it still has its same eclectic, kind of funky spirit.
So you can come in, check out the bead store, which is now Create and Adorn.
Yes.
Freighthouse Square, I hear, isn't as visible in Tacoma as some people might think. There's not as many people who know about it. Is that your impression?
Yeah. I hear a lot of people, I haven't been down here in years, or they forget that it exists.
And they're sorry. So people need to check it out.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of great restaurants and shops and things down there. And it's nice as a solo entrepreneur to be in that marketplace with a lot of other people. It's not, it just feels like you're not alone.
Yeah, well, I think you're really inspiration for entrepreneurs who are thinking about getting started or going through bumpy times, that you can keep going. Yeah. You're getting settled in right now, right? Do you think you have any plans for the future or anything you might?
Definitely continuing to expand our inventory and classes and that kind of thing. But definitely the online component, the website is really important to us surviving. I think, I don't know how other industries, but I don't know how any brick and mortar can survive without also having online sales, not just presence, but a roadmap online to make sales on there. I think brick and mortar will need that to survive.
Mm-hmm.
But our online store also kind of needs the brick and mortar, the kind of creative energy behind it, and the community. I kind of feel like the website needs that to thrive. You know, they kind of feed each other.
Yeah, they both support each other and build each other.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
That's probably a great model for.
I hope so. I mean, a lot of stores, traditional brick and mortars, have their online presence, but they're very separate. Targets, and I'm kind of hoping to really more enmesh ours and make them very combined and do a lot of social media. And
it's going to be great.
I hope so.
Well, Viki, I really appreciate you being here today.
Thank you so much.
Inspirational story. It's great if you live in Tacoma, but you'd like to support Tacoma businesses and you're looking for unique gifts, definitely should look you up.
Awesome.
Thank you. Up next, the Fern Hill Business District on District Focus. Connecting people to business is what Tacoma is all about. Today we'll visit one of Tacoma's oldest neighborhoods, the Fern Hill District, which offers a mix of landmark historic buildings dating back to the 1890s. Businesses range from a rare used bookstore to restaurants packed with flavors and enticing dishes.
Hi, my name is Joe Harper, and welcome to the Fern Hill Historic Business District. The business district here is a small, cozy little business district, one of the smaller, if not the smallest in the Tacoma area. However, it has a nice old-time family feel that's very comforting. The business district is primarily made up of services and retail, family-oriented, small-town-oriented type of businesses. One of the neatest things about the Fern Hill Historic Business District is the history that surrounds it is just fascinating. You wouldn't think it to see it. Right around 1888, George Bird was one of the original founders of the area, and he decided that he wanted to set up a Fern Hill town here. At that point, he donated some land to have a school put in and a church put in. The district is really surrounded by primarily residential neighborhoods. So a lot of traffic coming through or people walking through their neighborhoods, which again contributes to the overall feel of the district. It's sort of that pillar of stability for the neighborhood. And that's one of the best things about it. We've got places that, well, since the beginning of our history, since prior to the state even becoming a state. Like I said, George Bird starting things off in 1888. We've got some buildings that have been here that long. And the legacy that a lot of our current businesses are following on seems to be something that everybody wants to preserve and is preserving.
For more information on experiencing Tacoma, log on to experiencetacoma.com. When we return, Andrew Fry will provide some tips and suggestions on helping local businesses grow. Small business is the backbone of our economy. On this edition of Tacoma Means Business, Andrew Fry will talk about the need and challenge of growing your small business.
I love talking to people who are interested in starting their businesses, and I try to do so once or twice a week. It's my opportunity to give them some advice from anything or everything I've learned over the years with the companies that I've started. Another question that comes up is, where do you get that advice? Well, we've been doing this particular segment now for about 8 years, so you can always go online and look at earlier times when I had a beard and mustache and advice that came through then. But the big one, the number one way to get advice, I think, for a small business is to talk to other small business owners. If you get a chance, because you're the ones who are going to share the pain, you're the ones who have had to solve problems and come up with ideas, and also you can encourage each other and keep each other in steady state when things are going sideways. So where do you meet other small business owners? There are a few places that make a lot of sense, and one of them in particular is just use meetup.com. Meetup.com is a website dedicated to bringing like-minded people together to talk about a variety of things. This last week, I had a former student contact me and say they wanted to move their career path into DevOps, and they wanted to know if there were any DevOps meetups that were going on in the South Sound. Well, the place to go is meetup.com, because that's when you're going to find out where they are. There are quite a few of them in Seattle, and it may, in fact, be Ed's choice to start one up here. But meetup.com is a great place to find other small business owners that you can talk to. Another one is the Small Business Expo. Now, Small Business Expo is obviously just that one central place that you can go and talk to other people, listen to panelists, and so on. There are actually two of them, one of them run by the Chamber of Commerce. So go to your local Chamber of Commerce and see when that Small Business Expo, launching your Small Business Expo, is going to take place. There'll be a great resource there. Again, an opportunity for panelists and advice from people who've done it. Now let's just say that you want to go travel. That's all right. Take a break. Get yourself ready, geared up to launch this thing. I got 2 locations for you to go to. One of them would be launch.com. It's a huge conference down in San Francisco, about 15,000 attendees, 250 panelists, and there you're going to get all sorts of information about starting your company. Now mind you, this means a trip to San Francisco and a hotel stay, which, it eats into a little bit of your startup fund, but again, great location to meet other people and talk about what your plans are and see what may work, what may not. The other destination I'm going to recommend is sort of my favorite other city to talk about when it comes to entrepreneurship and the mix of both music and technology, the arts and tech, and that's Austin. And then Austin has the South by Southwest Conference. You may have heard of it. Every year goes on. It's a huge event and another opportunity for you as a small business owner, entrepreneur, to go and meet with other people who have similar aspirations. So there's quite a few there for you find people to talk about your small business and find out what's been happening with theirs.
Thanks, Andrew. For more ways on launching and growing your business, check out Tacoma's Community and Economic Development Program at makeittacoma.com. When Business Matters returns, we'll focus on a women's clothing store that's all about style and comfort in the spotlight. Today in the Spotlight, it's all about you at a woman's boutique in the heart of the Tacoma Freighthouse Station Marketplace.
My name is Virginia Crittendon, and this is V's Boutique.
A Tacoma landmark for more than a century, the Freighthouse Station Marketplace is home to dozens of quaint shops and restaurants. V's Boutique is one of these businesses, offering women's fashion to please a myriad of tastes.
So my clothing line is the Urban Attitude clothing. They're loose-fitting clothes, but you can wear them day or night. You can dress them up or dress them down. And so once I opened the shop, I realized I wanted to provide good customer service for every woman that comes in here. So my store motto is, it's all about you.
What sets V's Boutique apart are the fine details that create a great customer experience.
Showing them things, letting them sample things, like the lotions, how I tell them about the different lotions that we have here, and I have a bottle where they can sample it, and about the perfumes, I have sample bottles, so you can sample the perfumes even.
As a small boutique-style business, Virginia says her number one selling point is customer service.
I also do little extra things as far as packaging, so when a person buys a purse, we put it in a bag, but we also add tissue paper, so we give it to them like in a gift form, so that they can feel special, like they've been somewhere.
On Business Matters, we often explore what inspires an entrepreneur to start their business. In Virginia's case, she's inspired by other boutiques she'd visited for years, especially one seaside boutique that launched her dreams.
I used to go to different boutiques and I loved the way they were set up, and I think, man, I would love to have something like this for myself. Well, I went to this boutique in Cannon Beach, Oregon, and I loved it. And when I walked in, I said, this is my shop.
Feeling right about a choice is one thing, but making it right means sound financing and picking a good location. This is why Virginia chose Freighthouse Station Marketplace.
I based it on that. I had the financing to do it, and I waited until the right opportunity came up for me to get a location, because the rent and everything was a factor as well.
Working under the umbrella of a building with multiple businesses helped Virginia decide on Freighthouse as her retail home.
So I knew that if I was inside of the Freighthouse Square, there would be other businesses in here as well, and I could feed off of some of that business. And then that way I could bring my advertising to Facebook and to Instagram, and I wouldn't have to put so much into the paper media as far as advertising and paying, exorbitant amounts of, financing to do it.
Virginia keeps reminding herself about the number one reason she decided to own V's Boutique.
This is a store for women, and I want them to feel comfortable, to feel like they're in a beautiful area, the atmosphere, and to be relaxed. So it's all about the interaction, so that they can feel like they're special. I like that in customer service where when you leave feeling like, wow, that was really nice. I want to go back there.
V's Boutique has a single owner. This means Virginia is responsible for everything. But she says there are times she might need help, and this is where family steps in.
It's just me running it like 90% of the time, and when I have to do things outside of here, my daughter will come in and she'll work for me a few hours a day if I need her to come in.
Small business ownership is packed with responsibilities. Virginia chooses to keep her primary focus on ensuring her boutique serves the customer and not the other way around.
If I'm here on Monday, but I'm closed Tuesday and Wednesday, and the people come down Tuesday and Wednesday, what good is that for me? And I don't know how far a person might be coming from. If they're coming from Gig Harbor, well, are they going to come back on Friday because I was closed?
Pride of ownership motivates Virginia to continually improve on V's Boutique. She has both professional and personal goals for the continued success of her business.
I'm hoping that within 5 years I'll be able to maybe open a second location like in the Kent-Renton area. For right now, though, I'm content with being here at the Freight House, but my goal is to open up a second store. And there's also, I would like to leave this to my daughter and my granddaughter as a legacy.
Investing in Tacoma, Virginia and V's Boutique give back to improve quality of life in the neighborhood.
I wanted to be right here in Tacoma. I've been here for the last 40 years, just about, and I wanted to give something to the community.
That's it for Business Matters. Join me next time for more insight into the Tacoma business scene. See you then.